What's up, guys, and welcome back to another one. In the news, the Crusaders have been forced to apologise to the New Zealand public and technically the world for breaking their lockdown curfew. Players were seen training around on the 6th of April, which isn't too great, especially when New Zealand have enforced lockdown rules that they needed to abide by social distancing and all that stuff, and especially being such a high authority team like the Crusaders, champions of Super Rugby, they need to abide by the rules because they've got a lot of people watching them who look up to them, who are inspired by them, and by breaking protocol and rules like this definitely influences others to technically do the same, because we're all frustrated. We're all going through this tough time where we are stuck at home, where we want to get out and about, but unfortunately we can't, because if we do get out, there's more chance of this pandemic to get even worse, and that's the last thing we need, especially when we are trying to reduce the numbers of people infected and reduce everything else amongst us. The Crusaders have done a statement to apologise and have reminded the players involved. The only one really identified was apparently Richie Mo'unga, who was seen kicking and passing a ball along. Now, Richie Mo'unga is an All Black indeed, and is a very high individual and very well respected upon New Zealand rugby. I mean, he's competing with Beauden Barrett for the flyhalf position, and he was a World Cup player as flyhalf for New Zealand. So as for a player of his caliber, he needs to be abiding by the rules. Yes, people will say, oh, man, it was one of these times, but the problem is you don't even know what could happen. You don't know you have this virus on you. It could spread like this, and the more people go watch you because you're a celebrity, they follow you around, then the shit hits the fan and more people get affected, or people just follow your example. The statement reads below from the Crusaders. The Crusaders are aware of some of our players training at Melbourne Park in Christchurch today, which was the 6th of April. Management has spoken to the players involved, all of whom live within walking distance of Melbourne Park. The club is confident this was not an organised training session among the group, but rather one group of flatmates training in their bubble who coincidentally, I got that word wrong, joined by a second group. Meanwhile, one player completed running blocks individually while these players made a conscious effort to observe physical distancing. They did share equipment by throwing and kicking a ball among themselves. Crusaders CEO Colin Mansbridge said, "In the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, this is a time when our community needs to work together and look after one another, and our players are social leaders in that regard." So, in other words, they need to follow these examples. I understand it. I mean, come on, you want to go out, but in South Africa, we're on full-on lockdown. We're not allowed out. We're not allowed to see people. We can't even purchase alcohol. Nothing. We're under strict lockdown, and if we don't abide by these rules, it's going to get worse and it's going to get longer, and it's the last thing we need, especially when we want the sport we know and love to come back. Players need to keep fit. How do they keep fit? Those are the questions. That's why they're so frustrated. I mean, we've spoken about it in the streams. How do these guys train well in lockdown? You know, you can do only so much weight training, cardio, etc., but the physical tackling of a player can't be trained. And I mean, once these guys get back into game mode, they could really get tackled and have a life-threatening injury. So those are a lot of concerns that are facing these rugby players during lockdown, and I can fully understand the frustration of wanting to get out, but again, they are influencers. The government has implemented rules which they need to follow, flatmate, bubbles or not. They need to abide by the rules, because there are people out there who are watching them and will follow their examples or follow them because they are leaders and heroes. Just my thoughts on that video, and I thought I'd just bring it to your attention for those who aren't aware. But the Crusaders have apologised and have reprimanded those players. So let's hope these guys, all influencers out there, stay indoors and abide by the rules given by their respective government as well as sporting board. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and thumbs up button as well. Also, please consider being a member of this channel. There are perks available if you become a member of this channel, so please consider it by hitting the join button next to subscribe or click on the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.